was speeding. Reporter Ben Lewis is there. And Ben, when can the train be moved?
Helen, it definitely won't be this evening. There are still serious concerns surrounding the structural integrity of the Bendigo Bank branch, and there are still a number of Metro staff down on the tracks inspecting the train as part of their investigation. The rail operator has just released a new statement. In it, it reiterates the fact it believes speed was the serious factor in causing this collision. That's a view that has outraged the drivers' union.
Another sign Melbourne's fleet of Siemens trains is off the rails. A train driver lucky to escape after his train overshot the tracks by 10 metres at Sandringham Station, crashing through the rear wall of the local Bendigo Bank last night.
The windscreen was shattered, but fortunately the driver walked away unscathed.
This morning, surprised workers arrived to find a train parked in their office. Services weren't disrupted, the unscheduled stop amusing customers and neighbours.
Amazing, can't believe it. It's just like a movie.
There were no passengers on board at the time, but it's raised more questions over the Siemens braking system. Metro blaming driver error.
We're doing a full investigation on that, John, and the outcome of that isn't known yet, but we do believe speed was a factor.
The union denies that, claiming the driver was forced to apply the emergency brakes when the train failed to stop. An hour earlier, another Siemens train derailed at Pakenham.
And it's our view that Metro is playing Russian roulette with the travelling public safety.
Due to severe structural damage, the Bendigo Bank couldn't say when it would reopen its doors. The tight-knit community here in Sandringham just thankful the crash didn't happen during business hours.
If they were standing there, they would have been wiped across the room.
The excitement not lost on the regulars.
I said maybe it'd be nice if a meteorite hit Main Street. Just joking around, but got a train instead.
David Woywood, 10 News.
The jury in his train overshot a Melbourne platform and crashed through the wall of a bank. He'd been trying to turn the train around at Sandringham Station. Seven's Alicia Grabowski has more. Alicia.
Yes, that's right. The driver was turning the train around. It was about to be driven to Brighton Railway Station when it overshot the tracks here at Sandringham and smashed into the Bendigo Bank branch.
I felt like I was in a movie, you know, that movie Speed? I'm just so lucky the girls weren't in there.
It's fortunate that nobody was hurt. Any other time of the day there would have been a bank full of people.
Now, customers who heard about the incident came down to have a look at the damage. The manager of the bank also arrived. He refused to comment, but the one thing he did say was that the bank would be closed all day.
No, we closed today and closed for the foreseeable future until we work out what to do.
Now, at this stage, it's unknown whether the brakes failed or whether it was driver error. But if brake failure is to blame, it wouldn't be the first time. There was a spate of incidents last year which Metro had to deal with involving faulty Siemens trains. Luckily, the driver wasn't injured, and of course the bank was closed at the time, so no one was inside. An investigation is now underway to find out how and why this happened.
Actor Mel Gibson looks set to escape jail time over the alleged...
Overnight. In one case, a train slammed into the back of a bank building in Sandringham. Alicia Grabowski is there. Alicia, that caused tensions between Metro and the union to explode.
That's right, Peter. The train that overshot the tracks and crashed into a wall remains here at Sandringham. It created tension for the operator Metro, and it seems to have sparked a stoush over drivers' working conditions. Now, the union is upset that their agreement may not be honoured and they want to take action. But Metro says it expired in 2009. It's a very frightening account of how this train overshot the tracks.
There are three brake systems on the Siemens train, and each one failed completely.
The driver has told members of the rail, tram and bus union the brick wall was the only thing that stopped him.
If that train was travelling at speed, that driver probably wouldn't be here today.
It happened just after 8 o'clock last night.
We've heard the big noise. Boom!
Today, shocked customers assessed the damage.
I'm afraid to travel on the trains now.
Any other time of the day there would have been a bank full of people.
The branch manager couldn't believe his eyes.
No, we closed today and closed for the foreseeable future until we work out what to do.
It could be over a week before we find out exactly what happened here. Metro says it will conduct the investigation itself and report back to the appropriate authorities. If brake failure is to blame, it wouldn't be the first time. Last year there were 16 similar incidents. And last night, this one also overshot the tracks in Pakenham.
And it's our view that Metro is playing Russian roulette with the travelling public safety.
Alicia Grabowski, 7 News.
Tomorrow, with train drivers threatening to strike over a broken workplace agreement with Metro. It follows more dramas with the troubled Siemens class trains, brake failures causing 2 crashes. Chloe Bugeli has more.
The Sandringham branch of the Bendigo Bank certainly wasn't a scheduled stop last night, but it's the only thing that halted this train when it literally ran off the rails. Full of empty carriages, the driver was pulling into a siding when 3 brake systems failed and it overshot the tracks.
If that train was travelling at speed, that driver probably wouldn't be here today.
He escaped with cuts and bruises, but had the bank and train been full, well, it could have been catastrophic.
If they were standing there, I think they would have been wiped across the room.
Less than an hour earlier, the brakes also failed on this Siemens train, sending it crashing into a pole as it pulled into Pakenham station. But Metro claims both incidents were caused by drivers exceeding the speed limit.
Let's get a report from Metro, let's get a report from Transport Safety Victoria and see what the cause is here.
But it's no coincidence. The Siemens fleet has been plagued with problems since the trains were introduced in 2003. Just last year, there were 16 similar brake failures, prompting Metro to guarantee the problems would be fixed through the use of special sandbox technology. But the sandboxes won't be activated until September, so until then, you can hardly blame commuters for feeling a little nervous.
I'll be sitting in the middle of the train from now on and probably not near the end.
And Pete, there could be plenty of grief for passengers tomorrow with rail staff threatening to strike. The union claims Metro has reneged on a key agreement that sets standards for work practices and rostering. So unless an 11th hour deal is done, train drivers may not even turn up for work tomorrow. Pete?
Thanks, Chloe. There's a
In suburbs, these teenagers are risking their lives just to tag a train.
It's incredibly dangerous, it's stupid, it's idiotic, and it's an accident waiting to happen. It's a death wish.
Vandalism on Melbourne's train network costs more than $10 million a year to fix. Repairing damaged windows is an almost constant job. Metro replaces more than 3,000 panes of glass every year.
Vandalism and graffiti is reprehensible behaviour, really. It's pointless, it's dangerous and it's stupid.
Documents obtained by 9 News from Public Transport Safety Victoria revealed that last year, vandalised windscreens alone delayed or disrupted 238 trains. Of those, 121 trains had to be pulled out of service. In many cases, the damage is only uncovered at the end of the line. It means the train is forced to run empty back to the depot, leaving passengers to wait for the next one.
For every train we have to take out to repair, that's a train full of passengers that it cannot carry. So that can affect thousands of people across the network.
A joint campaign between Metro and police has succeeded in cutting reported incidents of vandalism from 1,299 in 2009 to 950 last year.
The high-level stuff is very organised and done by gangs, but it ranges from teenagers, and we've charged people before upwards of 38 years old.
Penalties range from an on-the-spot fine to 10 years jail. Andrew Lund, 9 News.
A shortcut home has turned into a...
Passengers' wash was going on.
To be honest, we're probably pretty used to that by now.
All services were cancelled and the station was shut down.
We're just going to drive to another one.
Probably walk back and take the tram, take an extra half hour, 45.
Rhodes was chaos.